good.
Oh.
What was that? What was that?
When you get older, a good sit is all you need. And yeah, I find myself just doing that, like an old man, like,
Oh God, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. All right. All good, all good. Maybe that was the intro.
yeah.
Oh.
It feels like that some days.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It does.
Look at that camera too, right up in there. Look at that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Jesus. It's a close angle.
Hey, we can load this up later and like make it a full Ghibli movie or something.
Oh wow. Yeah, true. Lawrence and Pat's SEO adventure.
It just like switches between animation styles.
Yeah. Our hands.
Make me a minion. Make me a
hands will
Smurf.
get all wonky. Have you seen I think it's called VO3.
Yeah, I was looking at last night.
Oh wow.
You will see a lot of that over your Instagram TikToks over the weekend because
Yeah.
you see the guy who made the rap about a city made of hot dogs.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's really good. We'll
really
flash
good?
it up if we can.
Okay.
But it's scary good. And there was one
Yeah.
where it was
No, good.
yeah.
Do you want to finish that thought or?
Yeah. So there was one of they said make a video about an AI telling it for me to stop making it die in the video, and it would be someone's house is on fire, and the person would be saying, "Why did you prompt me like this? I'm gonna die."
Oh wow,
and I was like,
that's crazy.
I'm out of here. Fuck this.
Shit, AI is getting human. Oh my god,
That was scary, and the animation was. It's getting there. It's very close.
It's getting there.
I'm actually worried that right now we're not real. That's
Yeah.
kind of it. Could be
Yeah.
that. It could be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out.
The next 20 years is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Oh my god.
Anyway,
yeah. Shall we? All right. Anyway, let's do it. What episode are we on? I think we're episode 5 now.
5.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Do I look at this camera or do I look at the other?
Where would you like to, if you're addressing the camera, you can have that one.
Yep. I guess I'll adjust the camera. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 5 of the After Hours SEO podcast. I'm your host, Pat, and this is my good friend Lawrence.
what's up? I was just looking at how nice you're looking today.
Oh.
I was mesmerizing the camera. And
Oh, really?
the frame of that.
Thank you. Did the hair extra nice
Got the
today?
nice purple hue going on.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Girlfriend's got me on a new skincare routine as well. So,
yeah.
We're trying to liven that up a little bit.
Pretty up. Make sure that you don't age out too fast and
Yeah.
look like 80 years old in the next 5 years.
Look like a dried raisin. Yeah. But hey man, you're looking good too. You've been hitting the gym. What's been happening?
No, I've been running. You've been
running.
I got
Oh, wow.
I got the Hokas on. My feet are very sore. They're all blistered up.
Yep.
I said to my wife, I was like, you know what? We're going to go to this market. It's about 10 Ks away. I'm going to run home. And I did that.
Oh wow.
And it was about 2 weeks ago and I'm still a bit,
Yeah.
I'm still a bit, yeah.
Wait,
That was
so,
rough.
so you just left her there?
I was like, yeah, I'm going to run home. Yeah. I wore my shoes there. I wasn't
Yeah.
running in like jeans or anything. That would be nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, okay. And she didn't think I would do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like filming on the way back being like, look, kilometer 5, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of like that moment where you remember that you have free will.
yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna run home.
Do you like flexing in your partner sometimes, being like they doubt that you can do things, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show you I can do it.
Yeah.
Because they're the most like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna run home.
I'm gonna show you.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
Then I walked in and she was like, wow. That's been my life since. I've been able to gloat about that. It's been only 10 Ks, and then I see on my feed people running like ultra marathons,
Yeah.
200 kilometers in the desert. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Your wife's like, oh, Lawrence, can you wash the dishes? But did you run 10 Ks though? Did
Yeah,
you run
yeah,
10
yeah.
Ks though?
You give me something in this world. We live in SEO. It's like the hardest thing to prove to anyone that it works sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we went on that really long tangent, I want to dive into what we're going to be talking about today, which is the role of content in SEO.
Yes.
So, everybody knows high quality content is the backbone of SEO. And in this episode, we're going to explain how do you create it, how to optimize it, and what is high quality content and all of that fun stuff. So if you're interested in all of that, stick around because we're going to get into some really, really juicy stuff today. So Lawrence, in the context of SEO, can I just ask you first question, what is high quality content?
In the context of SEO current state, high quality content is, we always say, matching to the user intent. If someone's searching for something, if it's high quality, a user will find it very useful, very conceptual, but the semantics and the technical piece behind that is why we exist fundamentally, and why I think content's become way more important in the last 5 years. It used to be just very focused on links, and it really didn't matter what you put on the page as long as you had the right anchor text pointing towards it. And you know a lot about that.
Yep.
But where we're heading to, and I feel like Australia's really caught up in that aspect, but now it's high quality can be perceived as if that user's on that page for less than 3 seconds, it ain't high quality.
Yep.
And we know those engagement metrics are super important. So if you can get a user to stay on your page for like more than 10 seconds and they actually click on something, you could debate that's just high quality content in whatever format, SEO or otherwise.
Yep, definitely agree.
What do you think?
I think there's like two ways of like looking at it. I think the very like technical SEO way is high quality content is essentially a blog that satisfies EEAT, the EEAT guidelines from Google, expertise. Oh my gosh, I forgot what it was. It was something expertise, authority, and trust. What was the experience?
You want to start that again?
No, but you can save me here. What was EEAT stand for again? I actually forgot.
You're smoothing out.
I'm smoothing out. My brain's getting smooth right now.
It used to be originally expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, but then they added in the extra E, which is experience, which I got deep on the source about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one I forgot. Okay. EEAT. Right. So touch on like what Lawrence was saying. Essentially, high quality content for SEO is like a blog that is able to be a really, really trusted source or resource, but then it also actually drives an action and people actually stay on the page. So I think like a really high quality piece of content is one that users actually read mostly from end to end. So when they land on the page, they're like, oh, this blog looks really good. And I'm actually going to read it because it's written in a really concise way that is able to convey the message that you want to convey and give reader a lot of value per sentence. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with blogs. Per sentence is there's so much fluff in the content, and sometimes like you're reading a blog and you're like, get to the point already. Good blogs get to the point really, really fast, really, really well, and they're able to do that throughout the entire blog. So you feel like you're getting so much value per sentence. I think it's a really important, factor. I think number two is that it has to be really well researched. Like, when you look at a blog that has lots of great hyperlinks to credible real sources that back up what they're saying, I think that's super important as well to add credibility to the actual blog to make it believable. So it's not just AI spun like crap. And then I think number three is it needs to then convince someone to take a specific action or has to influence their behavior in some way. So I think going back to the last episode with like Sam Penny, how we spoke about how it's important to have multiple interactions with someone or a brand before someone becomes comfortable enough to make a purchase or to trust that brand. The same thing I guess like that's why it's important that you influence behavior with blogs, because someone is only going to come back to read your blog, I think, or you're only going to develop an audience if you're able to influence their behavior, because they see that the stuff you're writing is either so impactful or so helpful that you're able to actually make them take action or influence them to take action as a result of reading that information. So then they want to come back for more.
So truly helpful content is what Google puts out. And I think that's what you've perfectly described there.
Yeah.
And I also like the part, and this made me think about pattern interrupting, right? Hear a lot about it in video content, but it's the same thing as you're scrolling through a blog. If you're getting a template or something to click on that's relevant to your experience or what you want to look for in that content, whether it's, what is accounting software, if you're getting links to something and then you travel to that next page, that's really useful. But before, you could just have a what is accounting page and pretty much rank for it and not have anything that useful on the page as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's really interesting to think about.
Yeah. I also think talking about what you just spoke about, like taking that next action is a really good, helpful piece of content will then typically show the user or the reader what the path is. So what's the next step from
What do I
here?
do?
Yeah, what do I do with this?
I got this
information?
problem. What do I do next?
Yeah, exactly. And that could be like, let's navigate deeper into the website, into another page, which is more helpful, which could then build them and like move them down the funnel. Or it can be can take a conversion action that,
Subscribe to an email list.
Yep.
Come to this next webinar.
yeah, purchase this product or
Yep.
call us now to fix your XYZ problem.
If you can get them to do something on the page, that's you're winning basically, because it's very hard to get people to do things.
Yep, exactly. Super hard. So I guess that goes into like my next question. And I think a lot of people are thinking about this where, we're in the age of AI, we're in the age of video content, like YouTube is so explosive, TikTok, Reels, like the visual format is, bigger than it ever was before. I think blogs are actually shrinking in a way rather than they are growing. So, in your experience, do people still read blogs? And do blogs actually convert anymore?
I think blogs, yes, people still read them, but you also have to add in the nuance that they're not like us. They're not deep in the digital marketing space. They don't search differently. Sometimes I feel we live in an echo chamber where it's like, it's conversion and, making sure the content's high intent and things like that. But if I'm just walking down the street and I ask someone, hey, did you look up something today? Like how to make sure my cat has the right diet? They probably would read the blog and they would do exactly those actions you're talking about, engaging with the page. If it's got a product that's useful, they might convert and click through to that. What is more interesting these days is seeing blog content that's very conversational or very unique and insightful. And those are the type of users that want case studies. Ahrefs are putting out really great case studies about clicks and AI overviews because they know if they say we've researched 10 million click data and they've seen this happen, that's really useful content to me. And I would go through that searching cycle, maybe not directly through Google, but I would find that blog and go, this is something I'm really finding that interesting, and clicking through to their products and seeing how they're dealing with it and how they're tracking all these clicks. So yeah, I think the fundamental blogs for a normal user, they still read them and they're still very impactful and they're great for topical authority. But where we're heading towards is a more advanced user who wants a little bit more, taking unique perspectives on things. AI can read that. It can read references and link between different topics and go, if I take the idea of LLMs and SEO, they're sort of merged. They're merging in the Venn diagram, so to speak.
Definitely.
And if there's a topic talking about both of them, that's a really unique search that I might create. And that's where you get into, if a blog article is really targeted towards a very long tail search that has never been thought of before because it's a new interaction with what we're doing in an industry, I would be cranking out content like crazy to try and capture those types of searches with just very unique stuff that it goes beyond just the normal keyword research tools. It goes into looking things like Reddit, looking through semantic structure, looking through sentences even and how they're structured and how you can actually optimize for a sentence that someone might say verbally and then maybe search a little bit similar to that in the future too. Maybe that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely does. I think.
What do you think? Do people read blogs, Pat? Do
Yes,
they read them?
I think they do. I think it's in a space where it's getting probably increasingly smaller. I don't think it's a growing space. I probably think it's a shrinking space, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon because blogs, they serve a very unique purpose in the search journey. So for example, when someone watches video content, they're typically looking for entertainment. They're looking for visual, I guess, like guides, and they're also looking for like an auditory assist to someone just telling them the information so they don't have to read it. But the issue with video content is you often have to sift through the content to find what you want.
You got to go through the timestamps.
Exactly. You got to go through the timestamps, but you're also not sure what's in those timestamps. So you can't get that exact precise information as soon as you want it in a very short amount of time. I think blogs, their advantage is if you have a very hyper-specific question, you can type that into Google and then you can then navigate in the blog to get that exact piece of information that you're looking for really quickly. And you can just skim it. Like the time it takes to watch a video compared to the time it takes to skim a blog is vastly different. Yeah, exactly. Video takes a lot longer because you have to watch the whole thing. You're not sure where your answer is. But in the blog, you can quickly skim it for keywords visually. So you know exactly where you need to look to find the answer that you're looking for. So a blog might take you 20 seconds to find what you're looking for. A video might take you 3 minutes, which is a huge like gap in time, depending on what you're looking for. So do I think people read blogs? Absolutely. I think they do. But I think they are shrinking because of the prominence of visual content like YouTube Reels and such. But also AI overviews are taking a lot of blog traffic away.
Literal real estate. They're taking the top part of the above the fold of search results.
Yep.
They're taking that space and just going like, "Yep, we're here.
Yeah.
Don't click on us. Click on us or don't click on us."
Yeah. And but yeah, on to the second part of the question is like, do blogs actually convert? I think they do if they're done well, but I don't think many blogs are done well because they're just not conversion optimized and there's no clear path to the next action.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So something that a lot of blogs don't do well is, for example, having very clear CTA banners or buttons throughout the blog in opportune places. So for example, you want to have like a CTA in the middle of the blog, at the end of the blog, and in the sticky sidebar. So you want to always like, whenever someone's scrolling the page, there's always that prominent banner that's following them throughout the entire page. So they can always have that clear path to the next step. Yeah, whenever they need it. A lot of blogs like don't have that. A lot of blogs also don't naturally persuade or inform the reader as to why they should take the next step or like how the next step works. So for example, like if you're like one of my clients right now, they're writing a lot of blogs on trying to get more contractors to join their business, for example. So if you create a blog around how much do like courier drivers earn in Australia, like that's a very like informational type of question, right? But you can then transition that person into the next phase by then having like a sticky sidebar that says, we're hiring courier drivers now who make between like $1,000 to $3,000 per month. Click here to call now, or click here to apply now. And then throughout that blog content, you also want to talk about like, for example, hey, courier drivers in Australia earn roughly $75,000. You could say that. And then you can go through the blog and say, top earners earn around 150 grand. Did you know?
And I go, ooh.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, that's a lot. And then you can say like, did you know that our company pays, in the top 10% of courier salaries in Australia, and we're actually looking for couriers right now. Apply here, or click here to apply. And then that's like a very natural lead in from like the blog topic and that person's search intent to then taking the next step to then becoming like a conversion, because now they're inquiring to join the company and they're like they're an employee lead, not like a natural customer lead, but
it's
like,
recruitment.
Still. Yeah, it's a recruitment lead.
It's leads. People still need people coming in that funnel.
Yeah.
Otherwise they can't provide the service. So
exactly.
It's just as important.
Exactly. So yeah, I think blogs do convert. But from what I've seen, the conversion rate is way lower than traditional like category pages or service level pages. So for example, like a normal service page on your website, like if you had like a website that did like tiling services, for example, might get like a 2% conversion rate, right? Which is pretty good. But if you write a blog, that's going to get roughly like a 0.1% or less conversion rate. So for every, I think, 1,000 visitors that you get, you might only get 10 conversions or 1.
Here's my point to that.
Yep.
Is if that blog costs you literally $50 to create, even that small conversion rate over time compounds, right? So if you get 100 inquiries over even like 10 years through that $500 blog, or even less, so like $50, or even you just written it yourself, just took an hour of your time, it could really compound and actually provide significant ROI if you just got up and did it, just posted it up and made sure it was relevant and added in all those conversion tactics that you're talking about as well. So this is a big miss of what people don't think about. It's just, yeah, we can do blog content. Small business owners always think, oh, we can do blog content, but they don't do it. And then they miss out on, even if you don't think the conversion rate is going to be great, think about long-term what that could provide from just a very, very simple action of just hitting publish on WordPress.
Exactly. It's like if you have, if you write like 1 or 2 blogs, nothing's going to happen. But then if you wrote 1,000 blogs that are just sitting there on Google.
It's like a big fishing net.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
just capturing all the the intent coming through potentially.
Yeah. Man, I find it so hard to describe. Like, I think that's something that I'm struggling with right now is like describing, what is the value of writing all of these pages in a very like succinct way. But I love that fishing net analogy. It's like, if you only have 2 blogs, your fishing net is tiny. But then if you have 1,000, like,
in my experience
huge.
working with clients, they have to feel it. They have to feel it. Otherwise, small business owners or people working in marketing, they have to feel it happening to them to go, oh, this works. And I'm in a little bit like this as well, that some people are willing to invest and sort of take a punt on things. But if they're very skeptical about something, you just have to prove it, whether you utilize a case study to prove it or say, just give me a month to show you what we can do and just slowly drip feed the wins and the intrigue to them. Because if people on face value are like, nah, it's too much for me.
Yep.
You have to basically hack into their brains and get them to see whatever personality type they have or whatever their business is, like how impactful it can be. But I've only been able to break through it by just proving it over time. And if they don't want to do it, then that's fine. But they'll miss out on the opportunity and a year later, don't come at me and say, oh, well, it's like, well, I told you about this a month ago, and just document that conversation basically and say, yeah, we should have launched 1,000 blogs. It would have cost you 10 grand or something like that. And maybe you could have made 100 grand, but you didn't. So up to you. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, totally.
Hey, on the point of blogs that trying to get blogs to convert, a really basic thing that people miss when uploading blog content or publishing blog content is if it's performing well or you're actually getting traffic through, just adding in Microsoft Clarity. It's free to use, looking at the heat map of what people are clicking on or searching on or scrolling through, and just moving around headings, moving around the CTAs, just moving them around and just seeing if it improves conversion. Because if the heat's all at the top and then you're scrolling through and it just dips down, they're obviously not seeing something like you're describing that would get them to the next stage. And sometimes you don't know exactly what because you're not part of the industry. You don't exactly know what they're looking for, what the next step is. Maybe you haven't got that. Maybe you just need to put that out and just see how they interact with that page. So your findings are very similar to that. It's going through the page and going, oh, this is a really hot area. People seem to jump over to this. I'm just going to move that up the page. It's a very simple thing to do, but it's the kind of tactics where you have to really think about these things, but most people don't.
That's so interesting. I actually haven't thought about that as well, but that's actually I guess that tackles a really common problem that a lot of people in the SEO space have, which is I'm not a niche expert in my client's industry. So I don't know exactly what that client is looking for, but then that's a really great data-backed way to know which sections of your blog are actually really, really hot. So that's actually really interesting. What was that tool called again? Sorry,
Microsoft Clarity.
Microsoft Clarity.
You can use it. Bing Webmaster Tools. It's integrated into there. It's free to use.
Bing Webmaster Tools. Wow.
You can also use Hotjar. Yeah, it's very underrated. Bing is doing some stuff right now because it's integrated with ChatGPT search. So they're doing a lot of integrations, and I think they've got their own AI assistant tool in there now. Free to use. It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
It's not the best tool in the world for it because you've got better paid tools that can do a lot of that tracking for you and give you better insights and histograms and heat maps. But I do something like Hotjar for that. But it's free to use, and this is that extra layer that SEO experts can think about while you're off doing your business stuff. We're thinking about all these micro tweaks that we're doing to your website just to increase that conversion rate a little bit. And if we do that, ROI will come.
Yep. That is a hot tip. Wow. Unreal.
That's just for you, buddy. No, but your tips are great. Hey, as well, Backlinko is a great blog, I think, fundamentally. If anyone wants an example of what we're talking about, what a great blog looks like, how it's structured, even what you said about the sentence structure, how it just sort of drip feeds you and gets you to go down the page very slowly even. It's not just a bulk of content at once. It's a well-structured blog. Like, kudos to those guys. It makes sense they're in SEO as well. It's a very, very high-quality blog. And I think if you just copy-paste their structure, you're laughing. It's epic.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brian Dean.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Dean. Please sponsor this podcast. Nah, joking. Okay, cool. On that topic then, I guess, how we were just speaking about, how it's really important to identify what our users really care about when it comes to blog writing. I think an important thing to get right is not only, I guess, where the sections are on the page, but then also what we're writing about, right? Because you don't just write blog content. You actually have to care about what users are searching for. You don't write blog content just for the sake of writing blog content. You need to actually write it to answer queries that people are actually asking, which will then help them. And then once they're on the page, hopefully transition them into the next stage. So my question to you, Lawrence, is how do you actually find quality content that people actually will want to read and that they actually care about?
So how I find high quality content in terms of research would be using your classic traditional keyword research tools, SEMrush, Ahrefs. They're really great at that. Second part would be always just looking at the SERPs. What are the SERPs telling me when I look for a broadline topic like what is accounting software? What are the headings blended into those topics? What are the people always ask for? Using Google itself and the SERP to indicate what a really well briefed content piece will be is really great. And then I've been using Reddit Answers that just came out. I think it came out in December, but I saw it recently. I've been playing around with it, and it's Reddit's a great resource. I say that people are just very no filter there. They don't give a crap about what people are reading. They just say they give you their raw emotions. If they don't like something or if they're having a problem, they're deep diving into those issues and asking for help, and then people are providing answers. So if they're not happy with a particular product or if they're not thrilled about a particular thing that they're experiencing, they'll give you that information, and it's a great way to add in those extra layers. That experience you were talking about before in the EAT cycle is just adding in a little human experience or a pain point that a person might be using. So I think pain points are very powerful for content these days. If you're talking about what it is and how it works and what the benefits are, what's the common mistakes? What's the pain points? What are people experiencing that they might scroll down that page and go, that's exactly what I was experiencing. Why I gave this top level search. I'm not happy with my accounting software because of X, Y, and Z reason. And that's right there in the third heading. That's exactly what I was experiencing. And here's a breakdown of different types of it. So yeah, Reddit Answers is a really useful tool. And using a blend of those tools, using SEO testing, SEO gets, using Google Search Console as well, very powerful. So you're just mismatching and blending all these ideas together until you come up with something that's like, I would read this, basically. That's the last thing it feels like. This is pretty useful to me if I was reading this topic or asking a friend about it as well. It's like, is this useful? Yeah. At scale, it's a lot harder to do, but if you have that workflow, it works quite well.
Yep, definitely. No, I love that. I love using Reddit as like a source for finding blog topics because you can get really honest questions that people are having that are really hard to find from traditional like blog topics, for example. I think a really great tool to use is a tool called, I think it's called Keywords People Use. And what that tool does is it looks at what people are saying on Google, looks at what people are saying on Quora, and looks at what people are saying on Reddit. So we'll actually like crawl the subreddit to pick out questions that people are actually saying about a particular topic or keyword. And it's a really great way to speed up the process of doing all of that manual research because it takes a lot of time to go into the subreddit and then scroll down and then try to find questions that are really, really relevant. But I think that's still one of the best ways to do it because like, doing it through like a scraper, for example, you can miss a lot of gold nuggets if the scraper doesn't get the gold nuggets.
The sentences, the structure. I think if you're posting on Quora about your problems, you've got really big problems because I would never think to do that.
Yeah. I'm desperate. Anyone help me, please.
Quora, like of all things. But it's very underrated. Even just plugging in Reddit as the Reddit itself into a keyword research tool, a domain overview tool, and you can filter actually by pages or subreddits. There's a lot of crap in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. So you really have to filter through, but you'll find some, I recently found that in Reddit, some people were asking, what does source equal ChatGPT mean in my analytics? And I just like banged out a quick LinkedIn post, boom, shot up into the overview overnight.
Wow.
So that was really cool. So you can find these like hyper specific, and that's where keyword research is heading. I think it's so unique and specific, and you have to dive a little bit deeper than just the keyword list that you normally get with the higher search volume and keyword difficulty. It's like how low on the totem pole can actually get, because that's where all the searches are actually happening now. It's not the big terms. It's like just underneath, like literally you're scraping the small, you're scraping the particular nuances behind how humans speak to do keyword research.
I did want to chat about that actually. And what you just mentioned is super interesting, how you said like all of the juice is really not, or I mean, it still is in the really sought after terms. But then there's a lot of juice in the terms that traditional search tools say has no volume, essentially like zero volume keywords.
Actually,
right?
they actually are the keywords you want to go after.
Yeah.
Probably the easiest.
Yeah. I was going to say, can you actually speak more about that and like your experience? Would you say that targeting zero volume keywords that you find on Reddit can you, I guess, like share an example of like when that has been successful for you and if it has been at all? And is that like a strategy that you would recommend at the beginning of the blog strategy, or is that something you do later once you've targeted more of the keywords with search volume?
So I've done this a lot on the Studio Hawk website. So I'm doing SEO for that from time to time. When I get bored, I just find a keyword and just make a quick page about it. And if you're already ranking for it, or you can, if you take the keyword from Reddit, plug it into Google and basically see that you're positioned pretty well for it, because it wouldn't appear in Search Console probably, and it wouldn't appear in other keyword tools because it's too low volume. It's like negative volume.
Yeah.
But someone's searching it, right? There's someone asking that question. And then if you just snap in some content or some heading structure or a new blog around it, you probably will get some traction. Now, we're talking like very bottom of the barrel stuff. That's why I say it's like you don't expect much for it, but you're building like a base layer. And when we talk about why should you post 1,000 blogs about all these conversational type searches, think about it in 2 years' time, that you'll probably be pretty happy that you did it. And then you can content audit through that process and consolidate down to bigger articles or things like that. So this is very advanced stuff that people normally wouldn't think about doing. So I'd say your positioning in SEO has to be really strong.
Yeah.
You can do some of this long tail keyword research and implementation on blog, but are you better off tackling sort of big service pages, making sure that the intent is there, making sure the USP is strong? I'd attack that first instead of trying to go for this. So it's really only for the clients or the campaigns that we're working on that have pretty much covered the entire foundational SEO set and just approaching these very, very competitive, not competitive search terms, but they're things you wouldn't think about. But if you position well, I think we're setting up for the future. We're setting up for a search mentality that's, I'm talking to my people voice shit on voice search for like 10 years in terms of SEO. But I think it's becoming a thing where people are just saying things into an LLM. They're going to pick up on those nuances in sentence structure and NLP and semantics and go, oh, Studio Hawk or this website built this really thorough blog about it 4 years ago. It's probably really relevant and probably really authoritative in that particular search result. So you're seeing a shift in the overall way people are using keywords from what is down to what is but 13 words long.
Yeah.
That's what, but we're talking like if you have the time to do it, which most people don't, and you don't have the rankings to really make it relevant or something important for you. But it's good for just capturing and stroking your ego a little bit as well. Yeah. When you do it, you're like, I ranked this really, it's real long tail search. But if there's relevance to it, like my, what does source ChatGPT mean? I think it's relevant to what I'm doing. So I'm happy I've done that and seen that work. I'm like, okay, how can I replicate that across even social media platforms? They're ranking now. If you're putting out content on social media platforms, they can rank in the SERPs as well.
Yeah.
Now, not directly coming to the website, but you're creating visibility, and that's how it falls through to the website as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, great. So it sounds like, what you were saying is when you are actually doing a blog strategy, target the stuff that has high search volume first, because that's obviously going to be, your most impactful stuff. And then once you've gone through and done everything that actually has search volume, then you want to go for that more bottom of the barrel stuff, because that's more of like a gamble, right?
Yeah, it's a gambit.
It's a gambit, yeah.
But if you got the authority to back it up, you're just getting more placements on search results, and it waves. But I think if you're actively doing it, you're also increasing the ability for those top line keyword searches to rank for. Essentially, you're building topical relevance in that, because if people are clicking through, they'll understand. You're trying to get clicks fundamentally, and if I get one click out of it, and it took me literally 5 minutes to crank out a blog really quick, it can be even a short snippet of something, but someone's clicked through. I'm looking for that click. We're on the hunt for clicks, Pat. These days, people are hunting for those clicks, especially with AI overviews and this new AI mode that came out. It's like they're going to be harder to get, but that's why you got to hustle and just like splay out that content across that fishing net. Yeah. Talk about like 1,000. It's like 20,000 different types of variations of keywords that you might try to optimize for at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I think content in the future is going to get really hard, like, worded content or visual content as well, because everyone's getting so much better at it. Like AI tools are, getting better and better every single day. So I think something that, I want to share with our viewers, I guess, is even though it's important to crank out content really, really fast, you got to make sure it's good. Yes. Because there's no point getting a click if there's no conversion or action that was taken from it. Because what's the point? You got 2,000, 4,000 clicks on your website, but no one converted, no point. So don't forget to make sure that your stuff is actually quality and you're thinking about the reader or the user, and then trying to make their life easier or solve their problems and actually help them rather than just cranking out blog content. I actually have a kind of like funny story. So back in the day, I think this was when AI wasn't even that good as well.
Well, 2 years ago, really.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 years ago. It's been that long. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were on like ChatGPT
The first,
3.5 or something,
yeah.
right? It was crazy. But anyway, so we had a client who was doing concrete polishing, right? So like, shining the concrete floors and whatnot. And then I thought it was a brilliant idea to write 1,000 blogs and just crank them out. And I was like, a click is a click. And I was
I
like,
think I remember this conversation. Yeah.
yeah.
This is when we first met as well.
Yeah, I think so.
You're like, man, I'm polishing the search results, man. They are mine.
It was wild. Anyway, so I wrote 1,000 blogs with AI. They were rubbish. They were just like, it was just
But
like
it worked,
AI
right? It
spit. No, it didn't work at all, actually. So yeah, nothing happened from that. So
there were a lot of case studies back then where people were just like doing it and it was working. But I think about 6 months later, it wasn't working.
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting because I would say only like 5% of them were actually in like rankable positions. So 95% of them never hit the first page because they were crap. They actually offered like no value, right?
So what did you change out of that process to take your AI use to what it is now?
Yeah, so I think that was a really important stepping stone for me to understand that publishing content at scale that is crap does not work, because there was a good learning lesson. I was like, okay, I literally posted 1,000 and I got nothing from it. It was a complete waste of time, but except for that learning nugget. What I learned from that was that the issue with those blogs was that I didn't like QA them. I didn't think about the user. They weren't actually targeting questions people were actually answering or asking, sorry. So yeah, what I learned was, number one, is you got to make sure that the UX is right on the blog. Like the UX is so important on the blog. Like imagine you had a disgusting, humongous, intimidating wall of text. Nobody's going to read it. Even if they clicked through, they're going to click out super fast. So you got to make sure that when someone actually comes onto the blog, it looks really visually appealing and you're trying to get them to read to the bottom or at least the middle of the page, right? So that was probably number one. Number two is conciseness of words. So what we spoke about before, value per sentence needs to be extremely high.
Value per sentence.
Value per sentence, yeah.
Coin that term. That's a good one.
Yeah. But for example, if you guys haven't checked out Lawrence's Soaring for Search LinkedIn blog, that's actually a good example of value per sentence because you're really stingy with the amount of words that you use on that blog. So
you know why? Backlinko. That's the reason why.
There you go.
Exactly. You just don't use too many words.
Don't use too many words. Like people don't have time these days. They want to find out answers like quick
and
as
even
possible.
the space, you're talking about UX, the spacing between the sentences is sometimes so impactful, like sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a bit shorter, but you have to almost read the tempo of how people generally read. I'm a very like scan person, so those blogs actually work well for me. But if you're actually reading, if the user likes a real big wall of text because they like reading massive studies, that's probably a good section of users to target, and that's a target audience. So maybe there's a nuance as part of the UX, and I'm sure you've discovered this, that if a contractor looking for a delivery job, how do they read? You think about how they actually read.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really like good one that people often forget is even the line spacing and like how many sentences you use between the next paragraph is part of the UX experience. It's part of like how easy do you make it for that person to digest and navigate through your content is like so important. You can't just get that like 4 sentence, 5 sentence paragraph straight from ChatGPT and then put it into your blog because people aren't going to read it because they're like, holy crap, like this thing is so dense. Like, you really have to like cut that thing down. And then, I think what I spoke about before was super important as well. A picture speaks 1,000 words. You can have fantastic writing on your page, to be honest, but if it doesn't have great supporting imagery, it's not going to convert as well. And just having huge CTA banners that say explicitly what your most attractive offer is, it will just make that blog convert so much better. Literally big banner with big bold writing with some sort of image of what you want the client to do or what their dream outcome is. Like for example, if you're like a moving company, you'd say like, do you need, and this blog was how to pack and move your kitchen, right? That big CTA banner could just be like, do you need your kitchen packed and moved in the next 30 days? Get 10% off here. And then just having that banner on the page will make that blog convert so many more leads just because you have an offer on the page or a natural transition to next step rather than burying that CTA into the text, which takes up so much less real estate on the page and will just get missed 95% of the time.
And you're observing what people want. Like they want a deal, so give them a deal on that page. It's not going to apply to every page, but it will apply to that page because that's what the intent is. The truly intent is not just informational, navigational. It's like, what do they actually really want beyond that point? You got to think about intent almost after the fact to really get that click through, get that conversion. Yeah,
definitely. I think the last thing as well is like, I don't know if this sounds woo woo, but it's more of like a human. It's more like a human experience type thing. So have you heard of like the rule of reciprocity?
Tell me about it.
Okay, so basically it's like if I do something good for you, you'll want to do something good back for me, right? So then what you're trying to do essentially is you're trying to build goodwill with your audience. So the more that you can help your audience without actually asking for anything in return, the more inclined they are to want to purchase from you because they want to give back to you. They want to support. Like, oh my God, this guy, Lawrence has helped me so much. Like, I just want to support what he's doing because he's offered me so much value and he's really helped me in my life. So that's probably the last tip is like, make sure your stuff is actually really good and helpful and actually genuinely help someone because then the more you help them, the more they're going to want to transact with you. And that just makes your conversion process so much smoother because you've helped so many people. You've put so much goodwill into the community that people are going to naturally want to give back to you. Is everyone going to want to give back to you? No. Do people want to take good free value and then just run away with it? Absolutely. But there will be more people than not who will give back to you than if you just hoarded everything to yourself and didn't give out your like nuggets and gems of good information, or if you just wrote content that is really not helpful to anybody and is just taking up space on Google for no reason.
So with that, I think if you really wanted something back, like let's say you were given to the users, like you were just giving it out and you're not getting much back, or people are thanking you for it, a Google review. Just do a Google review. Just ask for that. That's a simple transactional thing you can do behind that, and that also helps SEO, like fundamentally. So if you're a small business owner, you love giving out free stuff, love doing odd jobs and helping people, Google review. I don't think there's no massive friction behind that, especially if the person that you're giving that gift to or giving that freebie to, they haven't paid for it, basically.
Definitely.
5 stars, well, ask for 5 stars. They might give you 1, but definitely ask for 5 stars because I've told you multiple times, like I've seen a barbershop just have 5-star reviews and they rank number 1 in their particular area just off only 5-star reviews and over 100 of them. And that's just a very cheap marketing tactic that you can implement literally today.
Yep, totally agree with that. Have seen it firsthand actually as well with the barbershops. 0 backlinks, 0 SEO optimization on the website content. Just got them from 50 reviews to like 200 plus. Boom, top of the GMB.
Just a good fade.
Yep.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars for a fade.
Yeah. I think where a lot of people, I know we're talking about content, but I think where a lot of people get hesitant on the review side is it just feels kind of yucky, you know, asking for a review. It feels like almost like you're like begging them, right? Like you're like, please give me a review.
I think you could do it in a low friction way. Like we've done that. It's just like, look, if you really like, if they said thank you so much, it's like, look, can you do me a favor? Just a Google review. That's it.
Yeah.
We've tried a step of getting video testimonials a bit more. Now it's a bit more friction and a bit more to ask for.
Yeah.
But you'll get it from time to time. But if you've got, my recommendation to all business owners, if you got someone absolutely thrilled with your service, just ask for a review. Like I personally, I don't like to be an imposition on someone, but I've learned to just do it. Yeah. And they'll be so happy to do it. Like if you ask me for one, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Now we haven't.
Can I have one?
Now we would have to have some sort of you would have to give me something for it.
Yeah.
Just for it to be genuine because you can't manipulate this stuff. But we have we give a lot of free audits out, and then we say, look, if you really like they really appreciate that, but they can't afford to work with us or something like that. Just a good review.
That's a fantastic idea.
That's it. Wow. Simple to implement. It's SEO. It's conversion. It's really basic, but
And also
People don't think about
gets
it.
your name out there too.
Actually, there was a company that I knew. We didn't work directly with them, but they were
Hmm.
so good at their Google reviews. They're like a rail training organization. So they train people that
Rail?
worked on the railways, basically.
Yeah.
And they had, and in Google reviews, we walk around Melbourne and sometimes like 50 reviews is pretty decent. They had like 4,000 reviews on their listing.
Jesus.
And I've been to countries, been overseas where you see thousands of reviews and you're like, whoa, that's crazy because they
Yeah.
have more people. But for a training organization to have 4,000 reviews, just because at the
That's
end of their
wild.
process, they just asked for a Google review and the team was all behind it as well. The team really got around it and they put incentive structures for getting Google reviews. So something actually we do, we give $50 out if people get Google reviews in our agency. It's a little,
To specialists? Or
yeah, to our staff.
Yeah,
members. It's
yeah.
just $50, little
That's
gift
great.
card.
Mm.
They get something, we get a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. Everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
Everyone gets the gold stars.
I think that's why it's really important to give something and not just ask for a review, because it really removes that like yucky feeling. Because that's what I've experienced a lot is whenever we ask clients to ask for reviews, there's always a bit of hesitancy because people are like, I don't really want to impose myself on other people. I don't want to make other people uncomfortable. I don't want to make my customers uncomfortable. Like if they want to give me a review, they'll give me a review. But trust me, most of the time, I think Lawrence knows as well, people will not give you a review. So even if you gave them outstanding service, like maybe 20% of the time or less, they'll give you a review. So
You got to time it right.
Yeah.
Like, wait for that moment where they say, you guys are the best. Boom. Perfect
Prove
moment. Yeah.
yeah. But I think like you hit the nail on the head. It's one of the most important things you just need to do for your business.
Yeah. You need to
Because-
shake that off. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Like there was
I'm kind of done with being, not being cheesy, like not being cringy about it. Like
Yep.
you ask, you get, you don't get.
Yeah. The way I saw this like online, I don't know who the source is, so I'm sorry for stealing your credit.
Yeah,
whoever,
come at us
whoever
in the
wrote this.
comments,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't come at us. But this was not my idea, but I saw
Citation
this from
needed.
someone. I think it was Alex Hormozy actually, but he speaks about how social proof is actually the lubricant to the sales funnel.
Lubricant.
Yeah, the lubricant. So you know how in the sales funnel, you have people who are at the top who just discovered you, then you have consideration, then you have people that are ready to buy at the bottom of the funnel. So in order to make people move down the funnel faster, hit the mic. In order to make people move down the funnel faster, what you need to do is you need to lubricate the funnel, and you do that with social proof. Because a lot of the time people do not buy from you because they are either confused about what you do because your marketing message isn't very clear, or they just don't trust you yet. They don't trust you enough. So then what you need to do is you need to just stack up overwhelming proof in order to get people to overcome that fear. So even if they have some of that doubt, they're like, holy shit, man, like, whoops, did I swear? Don't know if can I swear? I don't know. Yeah, if you have 4,000 reviews like that training company, hey, I don't know what you guys do. I've never worked with you before,
Yeah.
but you kind of faked 4,000 reviews. It's got to be good. And people just use that mental shortcut to make that purchase.
Yeah, there is an art form. Like if it's actually too good, people get suspicious. So you kind of want some crap. Weirdly, you do want some bad reviews, and then you want the response to reviews to be really good. A great tactic I saw was someone that had a bad review on their restaurant, and they said in the comments that if someone referenced this review, this 2-star review, they get a free drink when they came in. Oh, that was really
wow.
that was really clever.
That's wow.
I was like, damn, that's you got to get real quirky with this stuff. You got to think a little bit.
That's really creative.
Yes. So
my God.
free drink doesn't really cost them that much, and
Yep.
you know, someone's read the review and gone, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I like that. Like, give me a free drink. You can go full like free meal if you really want. If the review is really bad, but there's some restaurants that don't care. I don't know if you've been to a lot of restaurants that have 3 stars, but they've got 10,000 of them because the service isn't that great, but the food's really good.
It's bomb. Great price point.
Shout out Springville.
Whatever.
Yeah. But you know what you're talking about, like the lubricant.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how people become really close friends is when they go out and get drunk together, right?
Interesting.
And that's and it's like this person is the best person. I want to hang out with this person all the time,
Yeah.
just because I've had a moment of just letting loose and being open, and you know they're shouting them free drinks. Let's talk about the free offering. It's like this is the best person ever. Give me free drinks, and then you'll never forget that person, and then you'll build more of a relationship, and you bond after that. So what you're talking about is just getting tight with the consumer. That they trust you, they love you, you're giving them free stuff. They'll be like, yeah, I'll come to your event.
Yep.
I'll pay for this little thing. I'll buy you a t-shirt,
Yep.
you know, right there.
Not for sale.
No, it's
Oh wait, the mic's covering it. Not for sale.
Yeah. So a bit of that lubricant is really good.
Yeah, that lubricant is great. I think, I don't know, we're supposed to talk about content. It kind of ties in, but I think it just goes back to kind of like what you're saying about the drinking comment that you just made, where it all ties in, because I think one of the most like important parts of, you know, making sure that your marketing is working correctly. Marketing is just basically like, I want to make myself known to more people, but I also want more people to know who I am.
Mhm.
And I think people get comfortable with other people, like when you go out drinking, because they know more about you.
They trust you.
They trust you, yeah. And I think a big like trust killer is silence, is ambiguity. When people don't know about you, they don't know what you do, they don't know who endorses you and says good things about
I
you.
don't know about this person, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not talking about who they are.
Exactly. They're not talking about who they are, and other people are not talking about them. That's what makes people not trust you and not buy from you. And I guess that's like one of the core things about marketing, is just to make sure that your brand is known more to other people. Like, what are your brand values? Who is behind the brand? Like, you just need to speak out more, and then just put your brand and yourself out into the world more. And then you can do that through content, because you're writing your thoughts out on a specific topic and you're helping people. So they're engaging with you more. They kind of know how you think, they know how you talk, they know how you work through problems. So that way they trust you more. It's like, I get how Lawrence thinks.
Yeah.
I see how he solves this problem. Like, this actually makes sense. And he's doing it in a way that I can follow and understand. I kind of want to work with someone like that. Like, that sounds really, really cool. And then with also like with the reviews, is all these people are saying all of these things about Lawrence. I feel like I know more about Lawrence now. I feel like I can trust Lawrence more now, because I understand what it's like to work with him or his company, for example. So
On your point of the trust killer, coming back to content strategy.
Sorry, could I just can you bring that mic a bit closer back to you again?
oh, sorry. Is it?
Yep.
Yep. No, all good.
So coming back to the trust killer element, I'd say not having content on the website or content consistently coming out these days is the trust killer, because it's all off a play right now. If you're not putting out consistent stuff, people go, they're not putting out stuff that's relevant to me. Why should I trust them? They're not being experts in their field. Talk about expertise as well.
Yep.
You know, you have to be, if you started a new company today, you would have to be covering those topics. You have to, because other companies are already doing it. Or if they're not doing it, there's a huge gap of opportunity there for you to do that and build trust with your audience. And whether they find you through speaking to you, getting drunk with you, or whether they find you on some awkward search where they went to Instagram and saw your post story, and then they remembered you 2 weeks later and they Googled you and they saw you have a blog and it was an interesting blog, and they're cycling through if they trust you or not constantly. And the best way of doing it, and the baseline and foundation of that, is just a simple content blog strategy that you're just consistently doing. If you're not doing that, then good luck, basically, these days.
Yeah, definitely.
GG.
GG.
GG, go read.
So funny. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Blogs obviously are not the be all and end all of content, but it's definitely an element of your blog, your content ecosystem. So it definitely like should be in there. Totally agree. Cool. So I did want to touch on quickly blog strategy. So if someone did want to start a blog up for their website, their business, where would you start and how would you coach them through the process? Like, what are the steps that you would take?
So phase one is always, does the product have a strong offering, USP? Is it very clear about the messaging, what's to actually rank for? When clients come to us and they say, yeah, like I want to rank for this, it's okay, we can engineer a strategy, particularly with blogs behind that, but is even that relevant to what you're trying to achieve? Because some services are so, I always think about law firms, they always have tons of specializations. Now we could build upon a particular niche that you're really good at, but then you have to decide as a business that you want to focus on that niche and you like that type of business coming to your website. Then if we get past that and say, yeah, we want to focus on family law, what's great these days is you've got a good start with AI. You can go through and just say, hey, build me a topical authority map on this basic topic. If this is for the layman, this is for someone with not a lot of SEO experience. And then it's going to tell you, hey, cover what is family law, cover the benefits, and go start filtering down. I would get that base layer of content up very, very quickly. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare. It doesn't have to be absolutely brilliant. But if it's author-led, it's expertise-led, you can get that going, especially getting, let's say, a lawyer to write that or fact check it. It's up on the website, and then you start seeing some traction coming through those blogs. Then you start building out the secondary content that's more of those supporting pages, which are long tail, the conversational and approach as well. Then after a while, you let the search results dictate what's going on, and then monitor, iterate, and then start cycling through new topics and constantly pushing out new blog articles throughout the process. So that's a very shortcut way of understanding it. But the nuances behind that are hours and hours of keyword research. And like I talked about before, just going through those phases of cycling through tools to just come up with that keyword list and come up with that strategy. And ultimately just a really massive spreadsheet behind it that would fuel the entire thing. You also need to build out content operations. Like if people forget about doing these things, nothing's going to go anywhere, especially for like a lot of these places. So, we provide content marketing services. We can write blogs, we can write landing pages. At a certain point, we can do all that, but some businesses don't want to invest into it. So someone in your business has to write it. If you don't have that person, you're not going to get anywhere with it really. So we can come up with the strategy very easily. There's multiple actionable templates out there you can do, and you can even ask an AI tool, "Can you help me do this?" It's all very user driven these days. It's all very by the business they can do that, but you got to build in content operations actually as the fundamental part of it. You got to hire a content writer and be okay with paying them a couple grand a month to just write blogs or write landing pages and constantly tweak, and maybe look at SEO services as part of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, really like that. There's I guess like a key couple elements in there. I want to get technical quick. So in that blog strategy, you mentioned how keyword research is like super important, right? So typically when you're doing keyword research, you're going to, find a list of really big, or just find a list of like seed keywords, I guess.
Head terms, seed
Head
keywords.
terms, yeah. I guess my question is, how do you avoid keyword cannibalization? And like, do you target multiple topics with the same seed keyword? So for example, if your seed keyword was like unclogging a drain, would you target multiple questions around unclogging a drain? Or would you just write one blog post that has unclogging drain? That's
the guide to unclogging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say hot take, but keyword cannibalization, you can't, if you try to intend to avoid it, you're going to miss out on some opportunity, because I always see circumstances where you put out that big pillar page and it might cannibalize some keywords, but if you're getting cannibalized in a weird way, it's telling you, I want to rank you for that particular keyword search that's a bit more secondary.
Yeah.
Write a separate piece about that, an internal link to it. So avoiding keyword cannibalization sometimes can stifle decisive action, in my opinion. That Google's just going to do its thing. You can try and predict what it's going to rank for, but if it starts cannibalizing your pages, that's a good sign that it's competing against different pages. So we've had a lot of issues on our website as well, where it competes against different pages because our authority is sort of getting splayed across different things. So we have to make some very critical decisions sometimes to go, you know what, we're going to redirect this page. As much as it may feel very uncomfortable to do, Google's telling us it really likes this page instead of this page for this particular topic.
Yeah.
And we can cut it off. And that's what people have a lot of fear around. Oh, if I delete this blog or I redirect it, I'm going to lose that. It's like, well, you rank for it already. So it probably is going to help the positioning. And guess what? If it doesn't work, you can just snap that back and just put it back into place.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work we're doing is around that iterative testing phase where, yeah, maybe you actually intend to maybe you actually intend to put it out there and maybe it gets cannibalized and be okay with that. But then it tells you, yeah, I'm playing in the right bracket here. So you've pushed into that field and now you can tweak and optimize from that particular standpoint. So I don't fear cannibalization too much. If it's happening at a real bad level, then it's probably a technical issue. But if keyword cannibalization is happening from an initial blog, to me, that's actually kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
I turn that into an opportunity.
Interesting. Couple key like nuggets in there, I think, which is like, number one is sometimes if you get like too in your head about SEO and you're like, oh, I've already created a blog around this one keyword and I don't want to cannibalize it with another one. Like, for example, if you wrote like a blog around how to unclog a drain really, really quickly, and you wrote how to unclog a drain with boiling water, for example, two blog topics that have the same primary keyword in both. But yeah, if you get two in your head, like those two actually potentially target two very different intents. So even though there's the same keyword in both of them, like there could be people looking for both topics.
Yes.
But since you've only written one blog topic around that, you might rank for one, but you won't rank for
I've got
all
the
of the
solution
others.
for you.
Okay, go for it.
Check the SERP. Let
Check
the
the
SERP
SERP.
dictate what kind of article you need to create. If you need
Yep.
to create a separate article, do it. If it doesn't seem that way, then don't do it.
Hmm.
So you're theory checking it against what Google's seeing, which does its own thing sometimes, and you can't control that.
Yep.
But then you're actually having some element of going, okay, it wants to see this. I should do this. That's the logic there. And if you're wrong, you just change it. Just change it back later.
Yep. True. I think there was something else that you spoke about, like not being afraid of cannibalization. I think that's good when you have the ability of like scale or production. So for
Yes.
example, like
Yep.
if you're able to crank out blogs like, you know, at a really good rate, then you have more freedom to be a bit looser with what you write about. But for some small businesses, for example, which can't afford to write many blogs, you have to be really targeted and precise about what you write about because you don't have much ammunition. So you got to make sure that those blogs every single month are like doing something or have a high chance of doing something impactful. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I also thought it was interesting your point around, you know, having the ability to perform things at scale is really important in SEO. So you can't just write one really good blog post and expect something good to happen. Like you need to have quality plus scale, and then that equals like really big results.
Quality, scale, and intent. If you actually want to do it.
Yeah.
You could do it once. Actually, to your point, you could do that once. And I've seen that example a few years back where you just have people come to you and just they'll be ranking well and they just like, I don't know, just like putting up blogs. Like, it's like, I don't know. Just doing the thing.
Yeah.
And there was no intent behind that. But those days are over. Like you can't luck into this stuff anymore. You have to be so engineered.
Yeah, you really do. It's getting really damn competitive these days.
Well, it's good for us. You know, we want to help people do this stuff. And the more that we can teach and give out free information, yeah, look, maybe you'll buy something from us someday. But we actually have good intentions. Like if we're telling you, hey, like start cranking out some blogs. Like if you're just sitting there and you're a plumber trying to unclog some drains and people are asking you about it, get that blog up. Like just do it. Just take 5 minutes and just crank it out. Because, you know, if you can't work with us yet, just start doing things and we can be able to help you later.
Yeah, definitely. I think having the theory is like really important and understanding why. But then implementing it yourself is a whole different ball game. But yeah, that's why we're here to help, and we've already built all those systems and things like that. So if that's something that you're looking for, then please reach out. Cool. Well, I think we've hit just about an hour now. So why don't we do a quick recap and just talk about maybe our top 3 takeaways we'd like our audience to have from this pod. So would you like to start, Lawrence?
Yeah.
Your top 3 takeaways.
Top 3 takeaways, talking about from the beginning question, what is high quality content? You have to think about the user a lot. Think about the user probably more than you ever have because they have particular pain points. They have fears and hopes and dreams. Think about what the emotion that you want to create off the blog article that you're creating and make sure it makes sense for your brand as well to write that particular piece of content. UX, extremely important, getting more and more important, making sure that you're actually leading the user to other pages after that point. So using that emotion, leading to a different page ultimately, and bringing in your expertise into the article as well. Like you have to be inputting some unique perspectives and unique keywords, essentially unique conversational type keyword searches down to the sentence level. Be so scientific about the way you're approaching content because it's going to be madly important. I'm not just talking about today. I'm talking about 3 years' time when the search shift happens truly and people aren't searching for your brand the way they used to. They're searching for their problems and they've got an AI chip in their brain and they're going, hey, I've got a clogged drain. What do I do?
Yeah.
And they find Pat's brilliant article about clogged drains because he wrote that a couple of years back. And just making sure you're so focused on actually producing high quality stuff ultimately. And that requires investment. It requires you to actually take your brand seriously. You could be a great operator. You could have the best product in the world, but if you're not promoting it through a content strategies generally from an SEO perspective, you're not really getting anywhere. You could luck into it through indirect channels, but now like get on it, like truly.
Definitely agree.
What are your takeaways, my friend?
Ooh, my takeaways. I think everything that you said was really impactful. So I'm going to try to cover different stuff. So I don't want to say the same things. But I think three takeaways. I think number one is it's so hard to write good stuff. It's so hard. It takes so much work. Like if you look at a blog creation workflow, it's so long. Like there's so many steps and edits that need to go into it. It's ridiculous. So what we were saying about needing quality and scale is super important. I think that's a really big takeaway. So if you don't have, or if you have quality but you don't have scale, or you have scale but you don't have quality, then my advice to business owners is make sure that you find someone who can give you both. You want to enable that part for your business essentially, so you can start activating your website, activating content, activating trust within your audience. So I think that's probably number one. Number two, I would say, is don't stress about being perfect. So I think Lawrence touched on this earlier, where he said that even though it's really, really important to write good content, don't stress over making it 100%. It doesn't need to be 100%. Like you're never going to be 100% at really anything in your life. So it's important just to 80-20 rule, make sure it's good quality content. But then if it's good enough to publish and you've worked on it for a while, just post it. Like don't think about it too much. Just post it. It's good. It's helpful. It looks great. Just post it and move on. Like don't spend all your time working on one blog when you could have wrote 10, right? So just make sure that you're working on scale and quality, and then don't stress about making everything 100%. I think my last one was probably around. I think I really liked your micro clarity. Was it micro clarity?
Microsoft Clarity.
Microsoft Clarity tip. That was a really hot tip. I think.
Yeah, Bing. Guys,
Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the Bing.
Yeah, look at where users actually engage on your page and then decide, do I need to reshift the content? Do I need to shuffle it around? What elements of my page do I need to change? And this is super impactful, especially if you have a really, really high performing blog. Like if you have a blog that gets like 10,000 visitors per month, you can make very small changes to the way your CTAs look, or where your CTAs are positioned, what your CTAs say, which can have a massive lift on conversions for you every single month because you
100%.
looked at how users are actually behaving on your site. I wouldn't do that for every single page, like Lawrence was saying. Just do that for your most prominent pages, because looking at heat maps and whatnot and then deciding how to reshuffle pages takes a lot
on a zero
of time.
traffic blog.
Yeah. Whoa, whoops. Oh my God. That's how impactful that last one was. My water bottle fell over.
Hey, to your point about not having things perfect, I always say to the team, and this is just a philosophy for life
Like
as well.
me dropping that water bottle, it's just there.
You put it out to the universe and you just see what happens. Let the users or the people out there give you feedback whether it was good or not.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you will truly know. You could sit there and engineer the perfect blog, like the What is SEO blog, the best one in the world, but the users may not see it because you spent 3 years building it, and by that point it's all redundant as well.
Yeah.
Just getting it out there, I think, and then the responsivity from the user. You'll see the heat maps, you'll see traffic coming through or not, and go, that isn't the right approach. And that's fundamentals of marketing. You're investing in things and ideas of strategies that probably will work. If you've done the right things, they probably will. If they're not right, then maybe they just weren't the right fit for that particular campaign. And I think that's okay. There's a lot of fear that things won't work out, but it's just generally just life. You can apply that same principle to marketing as well. Just do things.
Yep. Just do things.
Post the thing, do the thing. We're doing the thing right now, just doing the thing.
Doing the thing. Do the thing, see what works. Whatever's winning for you, do more of that. Whatever's not winning for you, do less of that.
Yeah. And then just do one weird thing per month. Just a weird thing that people wouldn't expect. Like you always keep people guessing.
Like what?
Like
what?
Like writing a really strange blog about something that is a very bottom barrel keyword search.
Yeah.
Or, just anything, go skydiving or some shit.
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted to. And then film that and put that on your blog because people like that stuff.
They actually do. That's a great tip. Alrighty. Well, guys, that concludes episode 5. We hope you learned a lot about content in this episode. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And if you want to reach out to us, all of our links are down below. So, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Wow.
I don't know.